So welcome to this video, and we're going to get straight into it. So we're going to cover how we get a 1 to 14 sub price to chatting ratio for our models at my agency. So it's going to be a really valuable video, especially for those of you who've already got chatters in your agency or thinking about getting your first few chatters. Now, typically I recommend getting your first chatter once you've got that first model straight away, because you want to be working on the business rather than within it. You don't want to be a glorified freelancer. You want to be, building this as an agency ahead of time, which means you outsource and delegate certain roles. At the start, you can, do it based on a commission-only deal with the chatters, and then as the chatter is managing more accounts, as you have more money coming in as an agency, then you can then switch that to instead be having a base salary as well as the commission, because you want to keep that incentive there. So in this document, we're going to outline the exact strategy that my agency uses to get a 1 to 14 sub price to chatting ratio, okay? So as a guideline, we typically charge anywhere from $4 to $8 monthly subscriptions with our models. So you can take a 1 to 14 sub price to chatting ratio based on that. So that means every $100 spent in subscriptions, we typically generate $1,400 in the back end of chatting, okay? So this is done through pay-per-views, second sets, custom requests, targets, and tips. So we're using a few different strategies to get money from the back end and increase the subscriber lifetime value for the models. So the first thing I want to talk about is done for you chatters. So at my agency, we realize that professionalism is everything. Okay, we don't want to be having an unprofessional operation. We want to make sure that it's professional, so we get professional models because you attract what you are. Now, in this case, we increase the onboarding speed because that presents professionalism. So how long it takes for a model to join our agency and get a chatter set up in her account. Now, most agencies, they take a week to get a chatter into the model's accounts because you have to go out into the market, they have to find a chatter, they have to train the chatter because they're not doing this prior to having a model in place to get in the model first. But with us, it's instant. And how do we do this, you may be asking? Well, I've developed a community of over 6,000 plus chatters around the globe. So as you can see here is the group. You can see 6.2 thousand members. We have over 724 member requests. So we have a lot of chatters who speak lots of different languages, and we have access to them like this. Now, we train and select a few of these chatters who receive training and an award once they've completed training, and we then know they are fully ready to be set up in the account. So we want to make sure the chatters joining this know what they're doing. So we have their contact details once they've gone through training. We have them on speed dial. So we have their WhatsApp and on standby to get put into a model's account. So some of these chatters are already managing models' accounts. They want to be managing more models' accounts. And then some of these chatters are just fresh, looking to get started in this to make some quick money. And typically we have people from the Philippines, Eastern Europe, countries which have relatively lower wages than the West. Now, this is a resource that we also give students inside our consulting program access to via ticket system. So as an example, so it's a ticket system, they create a ticket, it then comes up with some information you fill out, and then based on that information, we'll select a chatter who's been pre-trained for you so you can get this done instantly within 24 hours. Now, our students say this is just one of many valuable resources that we offer that change the game for the OFM agencies, okay? So chatter training. Our chatters go through advanced training in order to ensure that they will deliver results when placed inside a model's account. So here's an example of chatter training. So we have English skills test. We want to make sure they're proficient, they're able to speak the language that they're setting in. Model niche adaptability, subscriber psychology, pre-made sexton scripts, reporting, data entry, neurolinguistic programming techniques, pay-per-view optimization, wall feed optimization, power captions, etc. The list goes on, but we train them on absolutely everything when it comes to being inside the account and making money for the model inside the account. So we then have chatter onboarding. So when onboarding chatters, we want to get them up and running as quickly as possible. So we have pre-built assets to make sure that we can do this. So this is how the process looks. So first step, we send an onboarding email. Then we set up the agency email for them. We then add them to Slack. we send an onboarding workbook. Within this workbook, they have access to the section scripts, guidelines on communication, access to OnlyFans CRM, so talking fans metric here, so they can go in, talk to it. Some people use Inflow, they'll do pretty much the same job. Access to chatting reporting sheet, access to chatter scorecards. So the essentials they need access to in order to effectively speak to us, as well as do reporting on these tracking sheets that we need them to fill out. And second, we give them access to the model account. So we have the model account onboarding call, and then we have model account weekly accountability. So to make sure that they're performing well in the account, we keep them accountable to that. And we want to make sure when we onboard them to a model account, we're not just throwing them in there. We want to make sure we're clear on what this model's wants, wishes, and desires are, how they want the account to be managed. And we relay that information over to the chatter. Now, we've covered the done-for-you chatters that we have, the chatter training, chatter onboarding, now chatter management. Now, when it comes to chatter management, many people make this mistake of being reactive instead of proactive. And there's a key difference there. So if you want to be a failing agency, be reactive. Whereas if you want to have a cash cow agency, you need to be proactive. And you can say the same for life in general. You want to be proactive in everything you do instead of reactive. Because proactive is always going to ensure that your clients feel respected and it feels like you're an agency that knows what you're doing. So here's an example of reactive management. So management you don't want to be doing. Model asks the agency to change the chatting style because the chatter isn't emulating the model's persona as she would like. As a result, the agency then hop on a call with the chatter and give them guidance on how to emulate the model's persona. Now, you don't want to be doing that because the problems already existed there. The model should never have to ask for that to happen. That's an issue itself. So instead, if you were doing proactive management, the chatter would already be trained on how to emulate the model's persona, as the model's already filled out a persona builder document that gets sent to the chatter ahead of time. So I'm talking about the onboarding, making sure that the model's laid clear what she's looking for, and we've relayed that information over to the chatter, and the chatter is proficient in what they're doing. So that's proactive management. So here's some examples of how we do proactive chatter management at our agency. So the first is the chatter scorecard. So we have accountability. That is the benefit of it. Keeps them accountable. It's a competitive environment and they compete for prizes against other chatters. So the chatters are getting put against each other, which is good because it then turns it into a little bit of a game. They need to make as much money as possible, and the way they do about that, and they can see how other people are performing in the chatter scorecard, and it gives them the motivation to say, okay, this person's made this much money and it has sold this many pay-per-views, then I want to achieve more pay-per-view sales than this person, so I'm going to work a little bit harder to make sure that I next time beat their pay-per-views. So this is a really big element that I'm not seeing many other agencies implement but us. Now we have chatter sales tracking. So daily KPIs are tracked, such as pay-per-view sales, all the important stuff, so we can make sure how much money each model is making. It's reviewed daily, so it gets sent over to us, we review it, and we can then send pay slips based on chatter tracking. So based on the sales tracking here, we can very easily send pay slips. It's all done in Excel. Then we have chatter end-of-day reports. So chats initiated, section sets sold, pay-per-view sold, tips made, custom requests sold, account earnings. So this is really important because at the end of each day on Slack, all the chatters send through a very quick list of what they're doing in each account. So we can then see, okay, yesterday the sales were this, today the sales are this. Is this good or is this bad? And if the sales have dropped a bit, then we can be proactive in taking a look at that account and why the sales have dropped. Instead of finding out from the model that the sales aren't performing as well, we can then see on a day-by-day basis how the sales are performing. And if the sales drop for one day in an account, we can then go in, take a look. Okay, are we getting enough subscribers? Yes, we are getting enough subscribers. In this case, is the chatter monetizing those subscribers effectively? What did they do wrong here? How could they have done this better? Again, proactive. Then we have weekly check-in calls. So we have a mission statement that we go through on a call. It's very important that you, as a CEO of an agency, relay your mission to your employees. Then we have account reviews. So we go through particular accounts which are performing well and review them, and we go on particular accounts which are performing not as well as expected, and we also review them, and we call out the chatters in this call. So we have all our chatters hop on this call, so everyone's aware what's going on, and if some people are not doing as well, then other chatters kind of help them out as well, basically by showing what they're doing differently. Then we have improvements, so we talk about what could be improved in specific accounts. And then it's also important to give praise. You don't want to just be having these calls dreaded, thinking the chat is going to be, I'll go on this call again. They're just going to be reviewing everything we've done wrong. No, it's also important that you praise those who are doing very well, because on the next call, they'll be motivated to do well within that week. So when they do hop on that call, they're going to get that praise that they're looking for. So this is how we get a 1-to-14 sub-price chatting ratio. In general, if you're getting a 1-to-7 sub-price chatting ratio, the chatter's doing all right. However, 1-to-14 is when you know that you're running an exceptional chatting service. And all of you watching this video, I'd hope that you want to be running an exceptional agency, producing exceptional amounts of money and profit. So if you are interested in this done for you chatters, as well as everything in the program, because we literally give you access to the chatter training, the chatter onboarding, the workbook, we give you access to the chatter management strategy, we give you access to all of this and much, much more, then don't hesitate to book in a call myself, because it'll be great to speak with you, where we can go through the exact roadmap that we got laid out in order to take people from doing $0 a month to $50K a month within 90 days or less. And we've done this to many other consulting students inside this program, and they're now living the life of their dreams. So don't hesitate to book in a call, and I'll see you guys in the next video.